Welcome guys, welcome guys to another reaction with the two toxic couple, or Mr. Big Nose, call it as however you want. I'm thinking of changing the name, but anyway, let's keep it for now, toxic couple. If you find it really good, attractive like Mr. Big Nose, funny, maybe I will think about it. Yeah, maybe I'll think about it. But it's based on true story, so guys, another reaction, another video with the man Andrew Tate in another podcast, and I definitely going to tell you what he's going to say. You shouldn't be broke. You should be rich. Wealth. It's even in the name. I didn't check the name. It's even in the name. You need to get rich, or now or else. You need to be rich. You don't need. Bro, then teach us. Stop being like just a guru and teach us. Or like this video have 3.4 million. Do you think they're making money through e-commerce? Or they're making money through videos, selling their courses through videos? He reached a certain point that he can sell his name now. His name, you need to buy it. Brands contact him and he doesn't settle for any brands. You know, like certain point you need just to start making money a little bit. 2 to 3K is really enough to make you live comfortable, but unless if you're making it from home, you know. But anyway, guys, let's see this podcast. What's going to say about it? It's been maybe a year ago, maybe 3 or 4 months. I don't know. I really don't know. It's been a long time I didn't follow him. As I said from beginning, I really dislike him, of the guru shit he make and the promises, and so I'm not really a big fan of him. So sorry for the fan who are there and following him stupidly and believe like alpha or beta or all this kind of old bullshit. So anyway, subscribe guys, likes, comment, give me your opinion, sincere opinion about it. I am really triggered to hear your opinion about it, and however you feel, write it. It's insulting, not insulting. However you feel, write it, guys. I take nothing personal. Everything is an opinion and it's going to be considerable. So let's check it, guys.
Andrew Tate, the most famous man on planet Earth. Love him or hate him, everyone is watching. Although controversial, Andrew's meteoric rise to fame has led him to become one of the most influential men in the world.
True.
He's no longer regarded as a celebrity or an influencer, but rather a political figure. A man who has captured a generation of minds and impacted millions of people across the globe. His polarizing views have sparked debates worldwide, even at the highest of levels, including institutions and governmental organizations.
Online influencer Andrew Tate's vile misogyny infiltrates our classrooms and society.
But the true Andrew Tate is a man that is largely misunderstood. I wanted to take this opportunity to discover the real Andrew Tate. In December of 2022, I was scheduled to meet Andrew in Dubai for our second interview, but little did I know that podcast would never happen.
Andrew Tate has been arrested.
On that same day, his house was raided and Andrew and his brother Tristan were sentenced to a Romanian jail on multiple charges. For the next 3 months, the world watched on as one of the most powerful men on earth was stripped of everything. In March of 2023, Andrew and his brother were released under house arrest due to a lack of evidence. Fast forward to now, he invited me out to Romania, where he remains within the confines of the legal system. With armed guards at his side, me and Andrew met at a secret location just outside of Bucharest. In this 3-hour interview, Andrew shared some of the most controversial opinions today.
They just fucking make it up! Women are the attack vector. How do you avoid this attack vector? What, be gay?
The real reason behind his arrest.
I was accused, obviously, of the complete garbage charge of human trafficking via the Loverboy method, and what they're saying is...
And revealed some shocking confessions never disclosed to the world before.
It's a good question you ask me. I probably shouldn't say this stuff, I'm just gonna say it.
Andrew Tate, thank you very much for coming back on the CEO cast.
It's been a long time, sir.
It has been indeed.
I like the t-shirt.
Well, thank you, man. It's good much. I'm going to give you one after.
Oh, perfect.
I want to start off with the podcast with this. Since the last time we spoke, I have to thank you because not only have you changed my mindset and my perspective on life, but I've seen personal friends start 6-figure businesses. I've seen fat people go to the gym. I've seen men stop chasing women. I've seen a lot happen. And when I asked them all...
Okay. I will say this. Despite I dislike him, you know, they say that they just come, see when you do something new and they go. They don't follow around. They just see it. Okay, it's good. We like it. We don't. Fun. But haters, they stick, you know, like when they're gonna do a mistake, like you know, like how the one from the Lord of the Ring, like Smeagol, Yeah, like that. So I was like that, like when you gonna do a mistake, like. But I would say that despite doing a lot of reaction of him, other podcast after podcast, I just recently stopped doing it when I saw that he went to jail. So there's no point of doing reaction, so there's no point of follow. Anyway, there is other podcast. So I started hitting the gym after doing a lot of podcasts of him. I really start hitting the gym. I really start searching how to make the money online. I paid for a couple classes. I did this. Yeah, so do I thank him? Maybe yes. Do I like him? Maybe not. But I will thank him for that.
Thing they say is down to Andrew Tate. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that's amazing news. And it's good to know that I'm having such a positive impact on the world. It's also interesting because it's living the juxtaposition of the mainstream media and the government, especially in the UK, trying to ban me and convince the world that I'm the devil and that I'm evil. And at the same time, everyone's saying I'm doing such good things. And it's certainly highlighted to me exactly how the mainstream establishment works and how scared they are of making men and people motivated in general. Because when you're a motivated individual, you pay attention to the things around you and you're not laying down ready to accept the slave programming. It happened the other day. I think it was yesterday. Some idiot from Leeds, I think, with a gun intended on shooting up a mall or something ridiculous. And the mainstream news article was Andrew Tate fan intends on. I've never even met this guy.
Manipulate it in a way where it's down to you, sort of thing.
Well, of course, they're going to say anyone who does anything bad who follows me on Twitter is an Andrew Tate fan. 8.8 million people follow me on Twitter. I'm sure if someone crashes their car, they're not going to say Taylor Swift fan crashed her car.
Yeah, no,
they don't care,
yeah.
right? You could be listening to Taylor Swift driving your car as you plow into a tree, and they're not going to mention it. But it's crazy how the whole establishment works, and I know my message is good, and I know that I'm helping people. But the scary thing is when you go deeper down the rabbit hole, you understand that that's why they dislike me.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
dislike me because I help people.
Yeah.
They dislike me because I motivate people. They
want to enslave people at the end of the day.
Of course.
We're going to get all to this later on in the podcast, but rather than making this a part 2, I want to make this almost a continuation from the last podcast.
Okay.
So if you remember at the end of the podcast last time, I gave you a Quran.
Yeah.
Now this is very interesting because at the time you wasn't Muslim then.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, alhamdulillah, you are.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to say welcome to Islam.
Thank you.
And secondly, what I want to say is, I know you've said a few times that you don't want to discuss Islam too much on podcasts.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that because at the end of the day, it's nothing to be ashamed of because we're all sinners and nothing can get anyone anything perfectly said. And
That's true.
even me being a born Muslim, and I'd like to say,
Born Muslim. There is nobody as a born Muslim, we are good. I'm a Muslim. I do sin. I don't deny it. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We did sin. Maybe we did sin in the past. Maybe we're going to do sin in the future. You never know. We try to fight the devil as much as we can. We try to be, with the religion, we try to be peaceful as much as we can. We try to be understandable husband. We try to be understandable father. We try to be the best our version of ourselves. And this is not just because of this push. Like, every time I hear him, you need to be better version of yourself. Well, so not something new. That's what Islam teaches in the first place. You need to be the best version of yourself for everybody to be around you comfortable. That's something not new. And as I said, to be a good Muslim, yes. That you're gonna make sin, yes. Have you made sin? Yes. You're gonna make sin. It's a high percentage. You're gonna make bad things, not bad thing, crazy things, but I don't know, man. When I'm speaking bad things, I'm speaking sexually, you're gonna have sex, maybe you're gonna drink some alcohol, maybe you're gonna smoke some weed, do some drugs. I'm thinking about these kind of bad things, Yeah, and you need to be the best version of yourself and fight the devil to not do no drugs, no smoking, no sex before marriage. You need to fight these kind of things. So that's why I cannot speak about Andrew Tate like when he was before Islam. I speak about him openly, say, now you cannot. I cannot. He's another brother Muslim in it, even though despite I dislike him with no Okay, I have my reason to dislike him, but I cannot say much more than that.
Say I have a vast amount of knowledge on Islam.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I say, there's still going to be people out there who comment back on what I say because people have different schools of thought, etc. So what I will say is just like the quiz shows where you got phone a friend. Also, the team are Muslim right now, so you've got phone a sheikh. So if you've got any answers, any questions that you want answered on this podcast today from a fellow Muslim right here,
Thank you.
Or if I can't get the answer, we'll get the answer for you.
Yeah, I'm studying it, and I have a huge amount of respect for Islam, and it's one of the only subjects that I am passionate about that I don't know everything about. Everything else I'm interested in, I can sit and talk about for hours.
Yeah.
Where if I talk about Islam, I feel like there's people far more qualified than me, and I feel like it's disrespectful because I'm new to it. I'm a revert, and I'm trying to learn like everybody else. And yes, I'm famous, and yes, I'm well known, but my opinion isn't valid compared to someone who's a born Muslim or studied it harder than I have. So,
Everyone's opinions are valid.
of course, but I don't consider myself qualified.
Yeah, fair enough. But how would you say it's shaped your life and your mentality?
You know the best thing about Islam? The best thing about Islam is how simple it is because there's wrong and right.
It's a simple religion.
It's wrong and right. I mean, you look at other religions and it's also subjective now.
Yeah.
And that's why I've said many times on different podcasts that it's the last true religion. If you don't have a strong barrier, if you don't have a yes and a no, you don't have a religion. If you tolerate everything, you stand for nothing. And if you believe in God and you say, I believe in God, but I'm not a Muslim, I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. You're a Christian. What is Christianity anymore? What does it mean? You can go to a Christian country, and America, let's take, for example, and you'll get in more trouble for insulting George Floyd than you will for insulting Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure.
You can walk down walk down the street.
You know, I would like to stop about this and speak. I know it's going to be a long podcast. It's 3 hours, but I'm going to make it 4 hours. I hope you're going to bear with me, guys. It's really important what we're going to speak about. This is the first things I'm going to give my opinion about it. First time saying what I feel. But you have to understand, like, I had a friend here in Germany. I had a friend. When I let go my hair and I have a big beard, like, he started calling me like, oh, you look like Jesus Christ. I really dislike that, guys. I really dislike how you portrayed Isa, we call it in Islam, Isa alayhi salam, Jesus for you guys. I really dislike how you portray it, or through the images, or even if you say this guy looks like him. It's really disrespectful because there is no human being gonna come really close to Jesus, or really close to Isa alayhi salam, or really close to Muhammad, the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, and the Prophet in general. He will not get close. So by saying another normal human being that he can be close or look like this, like look like the Prophet, is really not a good image, or not. It's not good to portray it like this. You understand that we human beings, we do a lot of sin, guys. We're far from perfect. The Prophet was close to the perfection. He chose them for God's sake. God chose them for God's sake. He chose them. They are close to the perfection. We are far from perfection. You cannot be portraying somebody like another prophet. Even to say he looked like him is so stupid. And I dislike that. And I hope, I don't know, I really hope that this kind of thing is going to stop by saying this guy looked like a prophet. Or and maybe the Hollywood, you see, Hollywood is controlled by the devil. We all know that. Hollywood is controlled by the devil. And you see, they start making movies about the prophets, and they start putting the prophets in the videos. You know what I mean? Like in the movies, they face and one actor played this, and I wish they're gonna stop that. And I remember when they tried to do Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ, the Muslim went crazy. But the Muslim also should go crazy when they did Noah, when they did Abraham, when they did Jesus. The Muslim also should go crazy against, because this is all prophet of God's, and we shouldn't tolerate to put it in movie, especially by something controlled by the devil, portraying other prophets. You know, there's something wrong. And Christianity and Islam and Jews should all get together and fight the devil in the first place, not fight each other, for God's sake.
With a t-shirt saying Jesus is gay. Girls barely go to church. If they do, who knows what they were doing the night before. None of it means anything. And then if you go and find a Christian that says this trans person has changed gender, what do you think about that? Christians are so soft, they're going to go, well, I hope he finds redeem, and I hope he finds guidance. Haram, bro. Haram. No, you didn't. It's haram. And I like that it's yes and no. And what's the point in a religion if you're too afraid to say what you believe in, or afraid to stick up for it, or afraid to defend it? Then what's the point in any of it? So I feel like it's the last true religion. I feel like it's the last religion on the planet. And it's kind of interesting because since my reversion, I've had lots of conversations with the right-wing conservatives who were upset by my reversion as if I cared. And a lot of them said to me, oh yeah, but it's a Christian country. We need to restore Christianity to England or wherever. And they don't seem to understand that the basic law of the universe is that power vacuums get filled. This is the basic law of the universe. If a tiger arrives in a brand new habitat and there's no other predators, it's going to destroy and eat all the rabbits and it's going to take over.
Facts.
Anyone who's in the West who's concerned about the spread of Islam should be more worried about the absolute fall of Christianity. The reason people revert to Islam is because they're looking for God and they can't find God anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's Christianity's fault for being so weak and decadent.
Yeah, we were discussing this as well as a group earlier on, and we were like,
That's interesting.
the UK majority of it is a Muslim, population. So it's gone past the point where it's now deemed as a Christian country because there's more Muslims than Christians in the first place.
This is the Islamic Republic of Great Britistan, and the thing about it, but the thing about it is, it's not even about numbers. It's about strength of belief. If you wake up and you want to truly live a religious life, and you want to feel like you have religious conviction, and you want to feel the fraternity of a religious life, and you want to have the boundaries and constraints of a religious life, you're going to be attracted to Islam. You're not going to be attracted to Christianity because you can wake up and say, I'm a Christian, and nothing changes.
Yeah.
Nothing changes and nobody cares. And that is Christians' fault. So I've had a lot of people complain at me as if, like I said, as if my personal choices are something I should... it's kind of, I'm self-analyzing as I talk here. I find it very, very interesting that Christians look at Islam as a threat as opposed to just understanding that it is a massive power vacuum because Christianity feels godless and you do not feel God in Christianity anymore. And that's the reason that people are so attracted to Islam. That's the reason I was attracted to it, because I respect it. How can you believe in something you don't respect? I don't know, and that's a general question for anything. You have to respect it. You have to look at the creeds and say, okay, I respect that. I respect how they defend their religion. I respect how they're black and white on certain issues. I respect all of these things. Also, it's kind of interesting because if you want to measure the success of a religion, you can measure it in regards to how many people follow it, or like you just said in the UK, or how fast it's growing. But I think the number one measure of success for a religion is how well it preserves the sanctity of a society. I think that if you want to say, is this a successful religion? Well, then you'd look at the society which it governs and say, are the creeds of the religion being adhered to by the society that it governs? I would argue that most Islamic countries have an Islamic feel. I would argue you'd avoid a lot of the LGBT garbage. You'll avoid a lot of the woke insanity. You'll avoid a lot of the feminism, which has destroyed the West, and all these things, because Islam is being adhered to and it's keeping the society functioning. Do I go to Christian countries and feel like Christianity is preserving them? Not really.
What about true hardcore following Christians? I'll give you an example. Obviously, you're just coming off the back of doing a podcast with George Janko.
Yep.
Now, I love that podcast purely because you guys was talking about religion, you being a Muslim, and he seems like, I haven't met him obviously, but a true following Christian.
Yep.
And it's funny because when I see a true following Christian, it's like you're so close to Islam, but you're just a couple of places where you're going wrong.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, shout out to George, because one day, you never know, man could be Muslim himself.
Well, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Christians must feel a deep resentment towards Muslims, especially the true believers, because we stick up for what we believe in, and they want to, but they can't because their own religion has become so woke and almost betrayed them. How can you stand up and say, I'm a Christian and I mean it, and you better, when they have gay preachers? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And your fellow Christians will turn on you and call you a bigot. Your fellow Christians will call you a bigot and call you hateful for saying that a man shouldn't chop his dick off. And then you're going to sit there and say, I'm a true Christian.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So all the Christians I speak to who truly believe, and I've spoken to a lot of them, they are very envious of Islam. And then I'm like, well, then what's the delay? But they feel like an affinity to Christianity because they were raised with Christianity or they're born Christian. And
something normal.
Perhaps they see Islam as a Middle Eastern religion, which is kind of interesting because Christianity is a Middle Eastern religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right in this one. Both of them are Middle East religion. The Jew also. Well, it's hard to say the Judaism or Christianity. It's really hard to say this kind of things. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but if you're telling me that Christianity come from Isa and Judaism came from Moses, so why Isa, alayhi salam, Jesus, why he just didn't follow Judaism? Like, what Judaism came from, like, so it's really hard because if you believe in the same thing where they all believe in to submit their wish to Allah, so to God in general, so like I am not a scholar, I'm not really knowledgeable with this religion, so I could be the last one to speak about the religion, and I'm not gonna dive into it. So guys, I'm just going to keep it like in the surface. That's what I'm saying. Like my religion is for me, I believe so. But I believe that there is really some good Christian. Like my wife, she's Christian and she's really good Christian. And I never told her like you need when you need to change the religion, or I never told her like that. It's like I saw how she's a true Christian. She value family. She value the kid, the children. Like take care of the husband. She do everything traditionally, like back in the days of the woman. So who am I to tell her to change something that I see that she's good at it? So I have nothing to say. I have my religion. She has her religion. We respect each other. Perfect.
They're from the same place.
Yeah, they all spiral from they stem from the same country as the Middle East.
I read somewhere that only 18% of Muslims are even Arab. I think the largest, there's obviously a huge black proportion, and Indonesia is a massively Islamic country.
True.
Malaysia.
I think Islam
North
just crossed over
Africa.
3.5 billion Muslims globally. That's more than half the population of the world.
If you believe in God, I don't see how you cannot be a Muslim. I just don't see the attraction to any other religion that makes any kind of sense. And you can also look at this, and this is why I'm careful to discuss this subject, because I don't want to get in trouble with people who know more than me, but you can also look at this from the ideological and the theologian standpoint in regards to what happens after we die, and superpowers and Allah and Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all these things that we don't quite understand. But you can also discuss it right here on earth with what you see, like I said about preserving the sanctity of a society. So you sit and say, okay, well, if you're Christian, how is Christianity saving your children from the oncoming enslavement? How is your Christianity saving your children from the slave mind programming? How is Christianity protecting you? How is Christianity helping your neighbors? How is Christianity preserving anything? Whereas Islam, it's kind of interesting because someone else said this who was smarter than I, and I can't remember where I heard it from. But they said, whenever you see a post-apocalyptic Christian society in a movie, it's just the purge and everyone's out to kill each other. When the meteors hit or whatever and America's under attack, there's snipers on the roof and everyone's trying to get food and everyone's struggling. Whereas if you look at a post-apocalyptic Islamic society, which exists right now, they're on the earth right now, they function and people still love each other. And it's the belief in God that keeps them together. I mean, there's no legal system in Gaza that's stopping people from committing crime. It's God, and it's God alone. And then you sit and say, okay, well, the strength of that religion, even in the harshest possible conditions, can preserve to a degree the sanctity of society and human nature. I don't think a Christian country could do that. If you put a Christian country under the level of destruction Gaza's currently going through, I don't think people would sit and say, well, Jesus says I shouldn't steal. In fact, if you look at what happens during natural disasters in America, it's the absolute opposite. It's just looting and chaos. What is a Christian country anymore? I don't know. What is a Christian country? A guy in America recently just got charged for a hate crime for taking down a statue of the devil that they had erected in a church. I'm mind blown. Like
Statue of a devil in a church.
They put a statue of the devil in a church.
That one makes sense.
He walked in there and ripped it down, and he's being charged with a hate crime. So I feel like if I want to get conspiratorial, which of course is unlike me, but if I want to, I feel like
I'm all for it, so bring it.
Well, God is the final barrier. The final barrier to the slave programming is always going to be God, because there's a firm right and there's a firm wrong. They're going to come along and convince us all that the sky is green. And it's unfortunate because slowly they're going to win. Right now, we laugh at the fact that a man can chop his dick off and become a girl. We laugh at that. But our great-grandchildren won't laugh at that idea. Unfortunately, slowly they're creeping in. And the only barrier to this insanity, the final protection, is God, the book that says yes and no. Simple.
So would you say, just a quick, sorry to disturb you there, would you say the answer to getting out of that and being part of the group where we don't believe what they say regardless is religion? Guys, listen, one of today's sponsors doing something absolutely crazy for you listeners. Check this. If you want to learn how to trade or struggling to be profitable as a trader, Jesse, who you can find on YouTube as Casper SMC, is guaranteeing any listener who applies for mentorship through the link in the description will get funded as a trader, or he'll work directly with you until you do. In just the last 90 days, Jesse's helped over 100 people get funded in his mentorship, and most of these guys never made a single dollar in trading before. And as an extra bonus, Jesse even threw in a gift exclusive to this episode's listeners. And that's the trading strategy he's using 30 days leading up to today's episode to clear $100,000 in profits. You can get more info on Jesse's mentorship and the 100k strategy in 30 days using the link in the description below. I do know Jesse has limited spots in his mentorship, so if you are interested in that, take a moment to apply while enrollment is open. Once again, the link is in the description below, so make sure you apply.
Oh, it is, but it's only Islam. This is the point, because Christianity is under such heavy attack now, and they've watered it down and diluted it so deliberately. They've done that. They want to do it to Islam. They're going to try very hard, but it's not going to be easy. It's still going to be a lot harder. Whereas Christianity doesn't protect anything anymore. There's no
Muslims
firm right and there's no firm wrong. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why Christianity is under deliberate attack, because they don't want people to be religious. Because when you're religious, you're going to have a firm right and a firm wrong. The primary goal of the Matrix, and the primary goal is for them to get you in a position where you'll accept the slave programming regardless of what your own eyes tell you. That's their primary goal. Their primary goal is for you to walk through life with a mask on, full of vaccine, seeing everyone around you fully functioning and healthy and scared of a pandemic. Or walking through life and meeting a nice gentleman and calling him a man. That's what they want. They want you to ignore your eyes. So, and it's unfortunate, they've already got a huge percentage of the populace there who will walk outside and see the sky is blue, watch the news and being told it's pink, and look at it and go, oh, I must have made a mistake.
Yeah,
it's
it must
pink.
have made a mistake, yeah.
So that's their primary goal, and religion prevents that. So they've come along and they've deliberately assaulted God, and they've assaulted the Christian faith, and it was a test for the Christian people to stand up and resist, and they failed. So when they complain now about Islam conquering Western nations, I say, well, you failed. You failed. It's now a power vacuum. Power vacuums get filled, and anybody with a true heart and true conviction who truly wants to respect God is going to be attracted to the Islamic faith because you have failed. I don't want, bro, if you're going to go to war, which I just described, because war is nothing other than controlling of ideas. That's all war is. The reason we send tanks to some random field and blow things apart is to gain influence over a geographical area so we can control, to control the ideas of that area. So I just described a war to you. It's a spiritual war, but it is a genuine war. If I'm going to go...
Ist es wirklich möglich, dass Sie finanziell frei werden, sodass Geld nie mehr ein Sorgenthema ist?
Go to war against Satanists who are going to try and poison my children and enslave me. Who do I want on my team? Think about it. You're about to go into a bar fight. You want to roll with the G's, or you want to roll with a bunch of pussies? It's a war. And if every time I say to Christians, bro, look what they're doing to Christianity, and their answer is, yeah, well, yeah, I pray for them. Bro, no. Haram. Haram.
It's
Haram.
interesting. It's interesting because speaking about it now, everything you just said there is pretty much written in the Quran that there's going to be a war coming against the Muslims versus the rest, in the sense of, well, they're going to try and take everyone away from Islam and try and do that. But obviously the true Islams are going to stay there. Now, it's interesting because with recent technologies, what I've heard in Islam is that the way they try to do it is they want to combine technology with human to create the same power as God.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I look at things like, this might be a conspiracy once again, but the new Apple Vision Pro that's just come out.
Yeah.
I look at that and thinking, so you basically want everyone to wear headsets out and about around the whole world and just live, that's fully living in the Matrix.
In the Matrix, bro, yeah. It's scary. And like I said, we will laugh at that. But as technology progresses and our children's children, you're right. People are going to be living completely in a digital world with little glasses on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen the Apple Vision Pro. I've seen some of the things it can do. I refuse to put it on because I have balls, so I can't. But if...
I would say this one. I saw it when it came. I also have the money for it. My wife, she wanted to do me as a gift, and I said I would never put this. I would never put these glasses on. Like, I don't want to be in this kind of generation or this kind of life. Like, I would never put it back. I would never put it on my eye. Like, I would never do it. So I will agree on this one. I would never put it. no matter what, like he's speaking about like other things, Matrix and shit. It doesn't matter to me. It's just I'm not gonna put it because that's virtual. I like the reality. I'm happy with the reality. You see that you enjoy the sun. You go outside for a walk. You go outside to play do sports, play football. So I like reality. I will not spend my life on virtual even for 1 minute.
Once they reduce it to, let's say, the size of my sunglasses,
Yeah, then it's going to be scary.
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's where technology is going. It's heading in one direction. And that's actually the most interesting thing because empires rise and fall. And we can discuss the falling of the Western Hemisphere at length. But usually geopolitically, as empires rise and fall, another empire comes and fills the vacuum, as we talked about power vacuums. And I feel like this is the first time in human history where as the Western Empire falls, which it is, it's going to be replaced with this global technological enslavement program.
Yeah.
There's going to be some server somewhere in Angola where no one knows where it is, and it's going to control everything and everybody. And it's not just a matter of geopolitical influence waning and politicians falling and things like used to happen before. It's actually a lot more scary. And the globalism is coming and it can't be avoided. And I guess it's kind of like gunpowder technology like this. You can't avoid its progression. It's going to be used. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. How do you try and prepare yourself for that and counter it? It's super interesting. And we need God more than ever, that's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm going to transition the podcast now to a point where, going back again in timeline order, we had done the podcast in May 2022, I think it was, so a while ago.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you had your meteoric rise throughout the rest of 2022. It was crazy. And then we could organize to do a part 2 in Dubai over New Year's period.
Yeah.
And you were saying, come on the boat party, come and live the life, we'll do the podcast. I was like, yes, sick. So let me give you guys, the audience, a story. Going to Dubai now, spent about $2,000 on the ticket, got there. Literally, as soon as I've landed, open up Instagram, and it says there that, like, it's all over Instagram, Andrew Tate detained in Romania. So we're like, oh, shit. Detained in Romania. Okay, cool, but you know what? He's going to be there for a couple of days. He'll be all right. You know what? We're here for 2 weeks. He'll be back. Yeah. And there was literally just no sign of what's happening and all that sort of stuff. So I know you've spoken a lot on the whole jail situation, the prison situation, but I just want to know, as it stands right now, currently, 2023, the date is 13th of February, day before Valentine's Day. Where do we stand in terms of the system? And, you know, obviously right now you're on Romania arrest, can't leave the country, but where do we stand? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, the wheels of justice turn slowly. And I'm currently trapped within the country of Romania, but I can go anywhere.
But he now he can get out.
Country. I'm on bail, I guess, effectively.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up on one word you just said there. Trapped. Why trapped?
Well, I see myself as trapped because I see myself as completely innocent. It's kind of crazy how the world has moved. We just talked about how they're going to assault religion, but I believe all of these things are actually interlinked. It's a large web, and I think that religion is also very, very closely linked to masculinity as a whole. And I think that a man who is strong of conviction, who believes in God, is something that they fear. So they also attack masculinity, and they do that by promoting feminism and also removing any man's capability or abilities to be masculine at any point. And they do that by empowering women, but also empowering the legal system to destroy men at random in the name of women. So I was accused, obviously, of the complete garbage charge of human trafficking via the loverboy method. And what they're saying is, by being nice to people, I've convinced them to do some work. And I stole the money. And the funny thing about it is they never worked. I never took the money. But the fact that they're trying to say that being nice to a girl now is manipulation. So if you beat a girl, you go to jail. Yeah. If you grab a girl by her hair, you go to jail. If you say, excuse me, please, can you come over here? You go to jail. So you can't escape this insanity anymore. And they're doing it on purpose to remove any capability at all for you to be a man. Women have all the control. We live in a matriarchy. The law is always on their side. They can lie. They can make things up. They're out to destroy you as a man no matter what. They run the household because if you say anything to her, you're going to go to jail. If they divorces you, she takes all your stuff. Like, it's a matriarchy we live under, and it's very purposeful, and it's kind of scary. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was saying, so your charges are you were nice to a girl and asked her to do TikTok and keep the money. I said, no, I didn't ask her to do anything. I was nice to a girl who had a TikTok account, and they're saying I stole the money from the TikTok account. They have no proof of this. And he said, bro, I know loads of guys who are nice to girls and buy them handbags. Every girl in Dubai is human trafficked. I was like, well, that's the exact point.
Yeah.
No one's not human trafficked now. So everyone's human trafficked. And the true objective of all of this insanity and the reason they attacked me, I don't know if you knew this, but I was arrested on the same day that Jeffrey Epstein had a huge break in his case.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Type in human trafficking and it's only Andrew Tate. It doesn't say anything about Jeffrey Epstein's
Damn.
case. The same people who were on Jeffrey Epstein's island are saying I'm dangerous and my ideas are dangerous and I'm a human trafficker because I have girls who I know who have TikTok accounts.
Yeah.
And they found messages between me and the girls when the girls said, I want to get famous on TikTok.
Yeah.
You're famous on TikTok. How do I get famous on TikTok? I said, post it this time, post it this time, post it this time. Human trafficking. The whole point of this insanity is that everybody is guilty all of the time. And I don't think most people at home watching this understand if you are a red-blooded male in the world today, you are guilty of crimes. And if they come and they get your phone and they look through it, you are guilty. The time you said to your wife, I'll be home soon, is dinner ready, is controlling behavior. The time you sold your phone without paying taxes. The time you recorded yourself driving, breaking the speed limit. The time they'll get your phone and they will wreck you. And by the time they put those 8 cases together, you hire a lawyer, you're on bail, you go to trial, and they waste 3 years of your life. They bankrupt you.
Yep.
You know what is the crazy things about these kind of things? The crazy part is like the moment you start making money, listen to this carefully, the moment you start making money is the taxes. You're gonna be so focused on the taxes. You say that I just need money, I need this kind of trouble, I know I want that problem. Okay, it's good. The money, more, believe it or not, more money, more problem. I swear to God, you make more, the lot of problem gonna come to you, especially with the taxes. Have you ever googled how much taxes you pay if you start making 10K a month? Google it to see how much you're really gonna pay. So there is some country you pay 57% of your income. So it's like, then come do the reaction in my place, or come do my business in my place. What's the point if I'm giving you 57% of my income? Then come and do it in my place and take the money happily. I will be happy. Google it for you to understand. Google Canada, Google Netherlands, Google Portugal, Google Spain, Google Germany. You're gonna see how much taxes they take. Germany take at least 45% or 49% of your income. Google thinks to understand how the taxes work. So I'm not making 10K, but I am doing it. I am doing not 10K, but I am doing something. And the taxes are if someone know how to help me, please just text me how can I escape tax.
And you're stuck in this legal quagmire of lawfare. And it's kind of interesting that most people don't seem to understand. When this happened to me, I kept saying on podcasts before it happened, they're going to arrest me. My second life, they're going to
you
get
kept
me.
saying the three strikes and
3
you're out.
strikes. I said, first they try and cancel you. If that fails, they put you in jail for a bullshit reason. If that fails, they kill you. And I said, they're going to arrest me. And I kept warning everyone. And then it came and people are like, why don't you just get a lawyer? And how stupid do you have to be to think that you just get a lawyer? It's a matrix attack. It's a clown world attack. The whole point is that everybody's guilty of everything all the time. And nobody who's been inside the legal system, if you haven't been through the quagmire of it yet, you don't understand exactly how guilty you are. I guarantee you, every single person watching this right now, if they get hold of your mobile phone and they get the password, they will find charges.
Yeah, they can build something against you.
Of course they can.
Yeah.
They can see the other phones you were in a vicinity with. You could be walking through the mall and you walk past a drug dealer at the wrong time. That's enough for them.
Yep.
They will get something and they will wreck you. And if you're not changing your phone once a month, well, then you're walking around with criminal charges in your pocket. And this is the reality of it. So if you ever get too large, if you ever say things they don't like, because your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your insignificance. You're only allowed to speak freely if no one listens. If people listen, then you have to be a lot more careful with what you say. Then they come along, they get your phone, and they find any excuse they can to charge you. And what did they do with me? They found me giving timings to girls who have TikTok accounts saying, well, if you post it this time, you'll get more views. And they charged me with human trafficking.
By the way, is it true about the TikTok you posted in sometimes like it gets much more views? Because I know about Sunday. I know only about Sunday. If you post it at 12 p.m. on Sunday, it's gonna get like at least 5,000 to 10K views. I know that. I did it. But rather than that, other days I don't know nothing about it. I just get from 300 to 400, maybe in bad good day like 500. But I know for the fact that on Sunday I get 5,000 to 10K. So I don't know about, but maybe it's true, maybe not. I don't know.
The people who were on Epstein's island then used a media machine. The people who were on Epstein's island used a media machine.
It literally
I'm gonna say
happened.
that 3 times.
It happened recently as well with Epstein's Island thing. There was a whole thing that came out about it, and I can't remember what it was, the article that they covered it up with. But literally, anything just gets swiped under the rug.
The people who were on Epstein's island used the media machine to convince everyone at home that I'm a human trafficker because I said